Good evening. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Today we're here to discuss the case of Reshundra Gerald. Gerald was 32 years old when she went missing from Norfolk to Virginia on January 4th, 2017, but she was not reported missing until 2 days later on January 6th, 2017. It now has been 9 years since she went missing. Today we are here to speak to her son Sharif to get an overall outlook on the case, what's been going on all these years, how his mom's disappearance has affected him, and basically where the case stands. Sharif, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So please tell us about your mother, Rashunda's case, and the day that everything went down. And first of all, how old were you?
I was 15. I was literally a month away from turning 16.
Okay, and so tell us what you can remember or what you heard, like what happened with your mom.
So, in regards of the day itself, I had already previously stated through like videos I made. The last conversation that I physically had with my mother was January 3rd. She was going out of town and she was going to come back and put money in my pockets, but she was going to be there January 5th, which would have been the day that she would wake up and get my little sisters ready for school. Um, so she told me she was going out of town, but she didn't tell me who she was going with. I was pretty much already aware of who she was going with. So I just told her to be safe. I gave her a hug, I gave her a kiss, and said, I'll see you later. But that January 4th is the day that my grandmother, she saw her get into the vehicle with the ex fiance. And
What is
that
his
was
name?
just, his name is Mark Morgan.
Mark Morgan. Okay, and Mark Morgan was the
Yes.
last person to see your mom.
Yes, he was the last person that she was with. She got into his vehicle. They had already been communicating several times. And on top of that, they had been in a relationship for well over about 2 years at that point in time.
Okay. And
But
so
yeah,
after they she leaves with him, and when does everything start unraveling?
so we already knew something was a little strange when I reached out to my mother through Messenger because at the time my phone wasn't on, and we didn't get anything back. So my grandmother reached out to her through like a regular call, and she didn't receive anything. That's when the family felt that something was off because my mother isn't going to go any period of time without talking to her children or at least checking in, sending a text like, "Hey, I'm good," letting us know what's going on. We didn't get anything. So from there, that's when the worry started to set in. And then by the fifth, when we really didn't hear anything for her, that's when we made contact with, the local authorities. And they said we had to wait that 48 hours. So that's when we officially filed the report on the 6th.
Okay. So how many kids did your mom have altogether?
Three. It's myself, my little sister, Shania, and then the youngest girl, Amani.
Okay. So all right, she has three kids. So
Mhm.
now when she goes missing, where did the investigation go?
So, to my knowledge, the investigation was more so handled between my grandfather and her father, my grandfather,
Hmm.
and my big cousin, who is a cousin to my grandmother. They were the ones that were being very hands on with the case. From there, the detectives, I only seen them come to the home to really get like some belongings for DNA, as well as anything we can give in regards to who he was as a person. Um, Crazily, this is going to be a little wild. They managed to pull up his known address because he didn't have one on record at that point
Hmm.
through magazines that he had given me because he didn't know that his parents' address was posted for the mailing address.
Okay. So now they were in a relationship for a while, right?
Yes.
How was he towards your mom?
In the most professional and nicest way I could say it, controlling. Um, there were several instances where he would break up with my mother because he didn't get his way. Would you mind me to get an example? I don't want to be too long with it, but
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
talk about it.
This is your floor. Go ahead and take it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna give a brief example. It was July 4th, 2016. My mother ended up going to a relative's home for a Fourth of July party. He had previously told my mother that he didn't want her to go over there for whatever reason, even though this is like an aunt and it's going to be nothing but family members. He sees that she's over there. He ends up going over there and pulling her out of the party in front of all of our family members. And from there, my mother, she like vigorously apologized to him because he said, "Oh, I didn't want you over there." And she also had to apologize to, excuse me, the aunt who was hosting the event because he just, for whatever reason, he just disliked anybody being in her immediate circle aside from him.
Right.
It was
So he
either
basically want her closed off, basically.
yes, like he didn't want her working. He didn't want her family around reaching out because he said they were apparently like moochers and leechers. It would even be times where I would come in the room just to sit on my mama's bed and watch like television, and he'd be like, "Oh well, we need a room for a little bit." Like he felt intimidated by other connection, and I feel like that was because he just never had that connection himself.
That could be true. You're
Hmm.
right. So now the investigation. Now they investigate him, right? Do they investigate him and ask him questions and stuff? The police do.
Yes, the day that it was formally filed is when they picked him up.
And what was his response when they picked him up?
So line by line, what they ended up doing is they pulled him and his wife in, and they asked him who was he to her. He said that he had no immediate connection and basically treated my mother as if she was like a street worker, like he just picked her up and was doing a nice thing. And he said that he took her to pay her water bill, and then from there, they went to a car wash where they were intimate. And then he dropped her off in a neighborhood called Young's Terrace, which most people in Norfolk know it as Young's Park. And that was the last time he saw her. However, line by line, when it comes to what his story was, when he said he took her to pay her water bill, he said he took her out of Portsmouth. The closest Waterville station area is in downtown Norfolk. So you're literally going the opposite direction to help her pay her water bill. Didn't make any sense. Number two, they didn't have him on any traffic cameras going to the area he said he was going to. And where I know him to stay, because I've been over his home, he goes through the tunnel as well as, if not there, the bridge closest to Berkeley. He goes that area and he goes through that area to get to his home because he stays in Camelot. And it would be redundant for him to go any other way. They didn't have him in any traffic cameras going towards the water billing station. And then number three, he also said like, oh, he didn't really know her. They didn't have any connection, but they had been in contact with each other 45 times between December 20th and January 3rd from the time of her disappearance, as well as they asked if they had any connections in regards of like doing drugs or anything. But in the text messages, it said that he propositioned her with $200 worth of cocaine, like some for them to do and some of them to distribute. Now, I wasn't really familiar with my mother's demons and what she was struggling at a point in time. And if it was the case, then she was hiding it from us very well. But if you already having a woman that doesn't have the ability to work because he doesn't want her to, and he's always there and stopping her from progressing, of course she's going to fall for this proposition. But he lied, and they saw it in the text messages because they looked through his phone too, and they held him accountable for that. And then, additionally, they saw that her phone was pinging off of a cell phone tower near his home in the Camelot area of Chesapeake. So they got him in all of these lies, so it just all fell apart with what he was saying. And even though he was corroborating, they just saw that he was lying.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I read somewhere where they had found a hatchet and blood in the car.
Yes.
Elaborate on that for me because I hear so many different rumors around that. I just want to know, like, how did that all?
So officially, they tested a hatchet in the car of the wife, and there was what they call it, hemoglobin, I believe it's pronounced.
Okay, yeah, on the
And they found it on the hatchet as well as the trunk mats in the trunk, and they sprayed it with Blue Star, and
aluminum.
that's
Okay,
where, yeah,
yeah,
luminol, and they basically saw that it pinged for blood. Now, the police formally have never confirmed it to the public that it was my mother's blood, but they did say they found blood on it. And from that checkup, they just never said anything. And I find like a really important detail to name as well. The hatchet that he had purchased it January 7th from the time that they had picked him up on the 6th. And they didn't formally get verification on where he bought it until the 13th of February, which is my birthday. And that's when they were able to see that it was bought at this hardware store at this time, at this date, which they found out was the 7th.
Wow. So you mean to tell me they got this blood and they never said that whether it was your mom's or not,
Mhm.
and they never
They,
made it public.
they
So I'm
never made
thinking
it
maybe,
public.
so I'm thinking maybe time to call them and see what's going on because even when I read that too, I was like, why haven't they tested this blood to see if it's hers? Because that right there, because I'm telling you right now, everything that you read and you see, it screams that he has something to do with her disappearance.
Oh, absolutely.
There,
And
there. Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt, sir,
No,
but
no, you're good. Go ahead.
in regards of what the detectives are doing currently, I can't speculate on whether or not they went about it in the right way.
Hmm.
And I'm not really going to be a conspiracy theorist and say like, hey, they didn't really care, because at the
Right.
end of the day, they care enough now that they reopened her case, and so it's
Okay.
still ongoing as we speak.
So the case is reopened.
Yeah, they have looked into it, so I can't speculate and say, oh, whether they care or not, because at the end of the day, I'm not hands on, and I was too young at that period of time. But I feel as though they didn't disclose what was on the hatchet for the simple fact of they just didn't want uh,
They,
clashing ordeals with
right.
him and the case, because there was already a lot of attention on it.
Okay. Okay, that's totally understandable, and I also
Hmm.
understand too with a lot
Hmm.
of open investigations that you can't reveal everything on the podcast. So there are certain things that you can't say. So I
Hmm.
totally understand, but I do hope going forward that they somehow get this guy because, like I said, yeah, anybody can see that he has something to do with it, and the way people get to
Yeah,
walk around freely after doing stuff for people that really makes my blood boil. Because
absolutely.
here he is. Your mom been missing for 9 years, and he's going about his life. And where is he? Is he still in Norfolk, or did he move?
I can tell you, sir, I didn't
Oh,
keep
okay,
up with him because at the
right.
end of the day, it's going to sound a little crazy coming from me,
Okay,
but my mindset at this point in time is I only really spoke up on what's going on for my mother for the sake of her closure.
okay,
Wherever justice comes through it, as far as the conviction, as far as them holding him accountable, they can do that. They can focus on that. But my sisters,
hmm,
her siblings, my son, my grandmother, God rest her soul, her friends and acquaintances, and whoever knew her in life and was luckily able to see her and who know who she is, they deserve that closure. I don't want to focus on who he is as a person, because at the end of the day, he doesn't matter. He gonna
right.
get what is gonna come to him at the end of the day through the justice system or whatever he does on his own time. But at the end of the day, my mother name, her face, and her spirit deserves to live on further than what's going on in just this case.
I know that's right, and I love to hear that. I love how you handle that.
Hmm.
Seriously, I like that. Seriously,
Hmm.
and I'm glad that you are focusing on that aspect or whatever. Because sometimes we get lost in certain things like that. But
Yeah.
you're a bright young man, and I see that you want closure for your mom and your friends and everything. And I
Hmm.
hope that this podcast, can definitely bring some answers, or somebody may reach out, they may know something.
Yeah.
So, now you said your grandmother passed away, her mom passed away.
Yes.
Um, how was it like for her, missing her daughter? I mean, I know it was hard, but like,
Ooh. Um. So yeah, that's a stinger. I'm not even gonna lie to you, sir.
okay,
No,
you don't have to stress.
I can answer. It's just, yeah, it just kind of made me remember. But my grandmother, honestly, my mother was the closest thing to her in a
Okay,
sense. Like that's the best way I could say it. And she saw a lot in her, and we did have family issues within the family, especially before he came in, but he didn't make it any better. But my mother always said no matter what happens to her and whatever the situation is, my grandmother will always have a space in her life or a space in the home. And so for her to not only have seen that her child is no longer here, experience it, and then see her like basically kind of hand her off to it, it ate her up. And I remember like the years before her passing, she would always just talk about that regret. And that was one of the saddest things ever. So that's why I personally made sure to just state like, as long as I got air in my lungs, I'm gonna make sure that my grandmother get that closure because she deserved that.
Yeah, she definitely does. She definitely does. So, what, like, okay, so the case is open. So,
Hmm.
going forward, um, like, what can we expect from you? I mean, I know you got the TikTok page. You did
Hmm.
the news story. What else are you going to do to like help further your mom's memory?
Well, I've been reached out by a few organizations. I'm just trying to make sure that I can get her story across without it obviously just being my face that
Right,
matters because it's my mom. I'm just making sure
right.
that her face is the most important. So I'm making a lot of moves as far as talking to certain organizations, making
Okay,
sure that her face gets plastered. That's why I reached out to you as well.
right,
Additionally, just having moments and memorials and moments where people can just reflect upon her and speak on her legacy. And also, it's an idea, but I don't know how I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna be honest. I want to make a documentary with just her family and her close friends, and just allowing us to really speak on how who she was, how this case affected her, and how it affected her family and friends moving forward. Because there's a lot of things people don't know about my mom that I feel like she would love people to know. She was a dance team coach. She was having bake sales in some crazy neighborhoods, which is crazy to say. She was just a community in herself. Like
right,
if you ask any kid from Huntersville who Miss Sasha is, they'll know because she was just there and people loved her for it. So I just want to make sure I push out as much about her legacy, her life, and get her perspective out. That's all.
right. Yeah, because every time we post our story, it
Hmm.
goes up, and people are always asking me about it, and I'm like, maybe one day somebody will comment that knows her, and we can get some more
Yeah.
information. So when you commented, that was like awesome. That was like that's the most awesome thing in the world because I've been doing these podcasts for probably for like a year or
Hmm.
two. I started off posting at first, but I really wanted to do more and get the person's face out there because you can post all day long, but I like to do videos, podcasts, so people can see who the person is. And like you said, your mom was overall a good person. A lot of times when
Yes.
people read these stories, they have their own narrative, but can't nobody tell you better than the family, you know.
Absolutely. And sorry to interrupt as well, but that was one of the main reasons I even did that because one of the biggest comments that I seen was, "Oh, she knew he was a married man. She knew X, Y, and Z." She did not know he was a married man. She found out the same way that I found out the day of. Like she went. Sorry to kind of just pivot, but
Go ahead, go ahead.
I just had to state this. The day that my mother found out that he was a married man was the day that she found out that he lied about his age and that everything that they had built was a lie because he proposed to her just so that way he could satiate that need of her feeling loved. He proposed to her and consistently kept lying. So if there's any takeaway from any of that, my mother was not aware of the fact that he was a married man while they were in a relationship. After the fact, in December, where he came around and he made his presence be known again, he stated that they were done in the X, Y, and Z, and she bought into it. That is her business. She bought into it after that point. But beforehand, no, she did not know he was a married man. No,
Right.
she didn't.
I'm glad you cleared that up. I mean, not that you had to, but like you
Mhm.
said, sometimes people just be off the grid. And
Yeah,
I've been trying to catch some comments sometimes because people just be talking sometimes, but they don't know. They don't know at all.
absolutely.
So is there anything? I mean, anything else you want to say about your mother on this podcast? Uh,
Whew. Uh,
take
I'm
how much
just
time you want and just.
Yeah. Honestly, if anything, if there's one thing you could really just take away from this podcast,
Okay.
I said it in the past and I'll say it again. My mama is a human. She ain't no better, she ain't no worse than the next person. She has done a lot for a lot of good people, and a lot of people can vouch for her. And I'm pretty sure there's a few people that can also say that she's wronged them in the past. But at the end of the day, she did not deserve what she got. Her children didn't deserve what they're dealing with and what they got. Her family didn't deserve what they were dealing with and what they got. I just ask people to be respectful. If you speak on my mom, please do it in a positive light. And if you have any questions, talk to me. I got two little sisters. One is of age now, but it's obviously a sore spot for them. So I will be their liaison. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to her siblings. Just make sure that it is a respectful question and answer, because at the end of the day, my mom is worth more than just a comment or a swipe by. It's a face. And another side tangent. Norfolk, Virginia also is facing one of its biggest issues as far as disappearances and you know children being abducted. There were just like 100 children that ended up going missing just last year. If you and your family are dealing with something similar to this, please make sure that you take the time to get a share or a repost. If you need a voice, use it. Please just make sure that these faces do not fade. All these people matter. Wherever they're coming from, whatever their financial situation is, any of that, just please take the time to say something if you see something, because you don't want to end up like these families that end up losing theirs and be like me and have to speak 9 years later down the fact. Time is of the essence. Please love your people. Please make sure that we as a community push these people out. Please. That's all I ask. And that's all I really got to say about that.
Right. And in closing, I want to say that he's right. You never know. This could be you. Share, like the post. If you know anything, say something. A lot of times we get caught up in this whole no snitching thing, or I'm not
Hmm.
going to say anything. The same way his family is going through this, your family can go through this, somebody else's family goes through this. Every 15 minutes, somebody goes missing. It's never a day goes by where I'm not sharing a post, or I'm posting somebody or somebody's family inboxing me. Same way he got a hold of me. So,
Hmm.
and going forward, I want to see this case solved. I want to see Mark Morgan arrested, put in jail, and
Amen to that.
overall for the return of Reshundra. Hopefully they can locate her and give the family some kind of answer. I don't say closure because you'll never
Hmm.
have closure in these type of situations. So I just want to see I want to see the case solved, and I want y'all to have some kind of measure of justice in this whole thing.
Amen to that.
And I
And
just want to thank you so much for appearing on our Forgotten podcast and telling your mother's story and getting it out there. And she would be so happy of you. Your grandmother is, and I'm pretty sure your family that's watching this is very happy because this was one hell of a podcast, and I'm glad that you got her information out there. Now the world knows, and we're gonna share this everywhere. And I want everybody to know that this podcast that we just did right now, I'm gonna replay it. It's gonna replay for the rest of the day and tomorrow. So you're gonna see it, and we're gonna continue to post your mother's story until she is
amen.
found. Again, thank you for coming on, and I appreciate you so much.
Thank you as well, sir. And also, one last thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
One thing I can say about my mom is she always hated people just calling her government. So just say Shasha. That's the best
Shasha,
way to
okay, I
remember.
got you.
Yeah,
Okay, I got.
Shasha. She if she was here, that would be the one thing she'd be like, all right, can y'all just stop calling me Rashonda,
Listen,
please?
it's
Y'all federal. But
it's funny that you say that because I got a nickname too, and my nickname is it's Bob, and it has nothing to do with my name, nothing to do with my
yeah.
name at all. And people call me that. I'm like, don't. So I understand.
Yeah.
I needed that laugh, so I'm glad you told me that.
Well, thank you. All right. Thank you, sir. God bless. And thank y'all again for giving me this opportunity.
All right, thank you. You have a good day and a good evening. God bless you.
Have a blessed day. Bye bye.